car's going to pick a number between 1 and 100.
It's not going to be the same one, though.
No. Email us.
The new week.
And last week's number, by the way, was 34. Now, send a number. Email us at pfabf at... No, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
You can email us at the webmaster or newsletter at pfabf.org.
Or you could even email us at harry@pfafd.org.
Well, if you got something to send me for the Harry Thomas Show. Well, anyway, let me get back into some new news here. We are excited about all the changes over there. We did talk a little bit about this last week on the show, about all the payoffs of the Bush administration. This is a new twist on it. Here's a headline coming out of the Associated Press February 4th, which was yesterday. Journalists paid to write for military website. The Pentagon is investigating this practice. This came out of Washington. The Pentagon's chief investigator is looking into the military's practice of paying journalists to write articles and commentary for a website aimed at influencing public opinion in the Balkans.
Yeah, because this isn't just an American thing. They're doing this worldwide. I mean, these are globalists. You know, Americans are not the only ones that are being duped.
Yeah.
You know,
this is worldwide. The average the average Joe has not a clue. The Pentagon's Inspector General Joseph Schmitz is reviewing the case and is also looking more broadly at Pentagon activities that might involve inappropriate payments to journalists. Now, this is what I like to say, and we talked about this a little bit before. They say, well, this guy's looking into it. Well, I'll tell you what, Joe Schmitz is not going to look into this, and if he does, he will be fired. This is just a ruse that they put out. MSNBC.com reported on this, and to make people think that somebody is looking into it and that things are being... It's like the whole environmental movement being a fraud. You know, just making people think that something's being done when it really isn't. These activities have been going on for generations.
Oh, I agree. And, you know, in a related story I have from the Independent, the online edition from February 2nd, is the government is attacked for hypocritical attitude towards the Freedom of Information Act. And basically the Freedom of Information Act is saying that, you know, whatever the government puts on paper, the public should be able to see. And, you know, of course the media isn't going to report on that. We have to specifically request papers, but promises to usher a new age of freedom of information have failed to materialize, with scores of requests to open the government to public scrutiny being rejected. Scores of requests have been refused, and some departments have been using stock replies to deny access to information. I mean, what's the point of even having that? This thing has been in effect for over 15 years, and now suddenly they're stopping the flow of information, and that's how I'm saying that's related to the media thing, is the flow of information is stopping from the government.
Yes. We got a lot of news stories. We're not going to be able to get... I got a quick one here out of the AmericanFreePress.net. Draft Looms. Now that the election is over, expect to see conscription. This is by Greg Seismansky. Within a matter of weeks, Republican Representative Charles... he's a Democrat, it doesn't matter, it's all the same. Charles Rangel says there are plans to try to reinstitute the military draft. Going in. There's more to it, and I just don't want to get into it. I knew it. It doesn't surprise me at all. Well, you surprised?
No, I'm not, because there was talks about this before the election, and actually they kind of snubbed it because there was such a bad response from the public at just the inkling of a draft. So they snubbed it until the elections were over. Now that, you know, Bush is guaranteed his next 4 years, and he knows that, you know, there's nothing we can do after this because he's a two-term president. That's all you can do. Now the talks of the draft are resurfacing. And this guy that you had just referred to, he was saying that it's going to make it more fair. The draft will make it more fair. Instead of taking resources from the lower middle class, now the rich will have to be in. But that's totally not true, because, you know, if you look at, say, the Vietnam draft, George Bush got out of it, and so did Dick Cheney. And there's so much more that we're going to have to wait until segment 2 to get into. But I could go on and on.
Yeah, why don't you go to our site, pfabf.org. We have links to all these stories and more. I mean, and what we are, and I'm just going to say real briefly in case you don't know, we have new listeners every week, is we're people are fed up with the direction the world is going. And we have all ethnic, political, religious backgrounds. We're a grassroots movement intended to bring current information to our members. Sign up for our newsletter. Go to our website, pfabf.org. Find out more about us. And tell a friend, and that's what we're asking. Tell a friend, so get out there, and this is the end of segment 1, and we'll be back with segment 2 shortly.